Okay, so welcome to our video series. We decided to do a bit of an informational video for our Facebook fans about anything. It could be about anything, so I'll take requests. I can talk about dentistry, implants, gum disease, fillings, whatever you like. But I thought maybe today I would start by just showing you kind of the inner workings of our office and what's it like to work here and what other different people do. So our video series is going to be called Toothday Scoop with Skow, and it should you should see it on our Facebook feeds on Tuesdays. So when we come in the morning, we don't come in the front door like you guys usually do. We sneak in the side door. So our parking lot is that way, and we all come in. You see us wearing scrubs. Most of us clinical people are wearing scrubs, and those scrubs are actually kept here. So I'm the colorful one. I'm wearing blue today. I feel a little bit like a Smurf, but most people are wearing black. The scrubs are kept here and actually washed here. So we bring in street clothes. There's a locker room right in here, which maybe isn't newsworthy, but has people's shoes and boots and those sorts of things. So people come in the morning and they get changed into their clean scrubs, and then we sit here at this table after we get everything set up. Everyone who works here will sit at this table about 8 o'clock. So we see our first patients at 8:30, and we all sit here at 8:15, I guess. Discuss our day and kind of make sure that we can accommodate emergencies and figure out how things are going to go. So we sit here and kind of get our act together. We can even put our schedule up there on that screen, and obviously we have a little kitchenette here. We keep our lunches here, and there's a staff restroom. In here, it's locked, so nobody can get any crazy ideas. This is where we keep our nitrous oxide tanks. So when somebody wants to use nitrous or laughing gas, we have to unlock this and open up the tanks so that it goes through the tubes. So when you want nitrous, there's some setup ahead of time that goes with that, and that is in this room. So then, if you come on this way, it looks like a pretty long hallway with a lot of rooms, but they all have a pretty specific purpose. So these first 3 rooms that I'm going to go by, each room is occupied by the same person every day. So dental hygienists, we have Missy and Michelle and Aaron. Some of you may know those people, and they just work out of their own room. So a lot of people maybe don't know about a dental hygienist as opposed to a dental assistant. So a dental hygienist is a highly trained professional person who can treat gum disease. They're going to diagnose any issues with gingivitis, periodontal disease, and help you keep your teeth for the long haul. They do a lot more than just what you might think of as a conventional cleaning, and do a lot of disease diagnosing. So a lot of people don't know that about dental hygienists. So that's these first 3 rooms. They're just dedicated to those guys. And here's Michelle working now. This is an X-ray machine. Just have you seen an X-ray machine like this? So you can take a 2-dimensional X-ray for a panoramic view. Really common to take those. And you just go in here, and it spins around your head. It's pretty easy because there's nothing that has to really go in your mouth to do this. So people like these. This machine is also a CT machine, so it can take 3-dimensional images. And we really like that. They're not very common in dental offices yet. I think they will be much more common. They help us to locate exactly where nerves and sinuses are, things that we want to avoid when we're taking out teeth or putting in implants or maybe checking for cysts or other forms of diseases. So we can do that with this machine. There's that. They're further down the hall. This little area is fun for the kids. Little treasure box for kids after their appointments, and they get to ring the bell if they don't have any cavities. I won't do it, but that's the no cavity bell. So there's 4 rooms down here that I haven't covered. These 2 right here, Dr. Dan Connors works out of. Peek in there. Looking out of his other room right now. He's left-handed and I'm right-handed, so it's nice to use separate rooms because he's got everything on the wrong side all the time. Along the way, this is where we sterilize all of our stuff. So it's common in most dental practices that one area of your sterilization room is going to be clean, knowing that, like Haley's working here, she's nice. So she loves the camera.
You're not going to count.
Anything on this side is going to be clean, so I can touch it without my gloves on. Anything on this side, different story. If we are doing procedures, we have instruments that are contaminated. So we set them on this side. They're going to start in this area, go through this machine. It's called a hydro. And this machine is like a glorified dishwasher. And it's really going to work hard to get any of the debris off the instruments and keep them nice and clean. It doesn't sterilize them yet, though. So as they move down the line, we're going to take the dried instruments out of here once the cycle is complete. And we wrap them up. And then we use autoclaves. So we have a couple different autoclaves. This is Midmark. It's just the brand, but we refer to it by the brand as Midmark. These are really common in dental and medical offices. So we have 2 of those. And they're going to use steam to sterilize the instruments so they're safe to use over and over again. So we do keep some supplies in here too. A few supplies, impression materials. I think we're about to change our system, but it's been nice having the new office. We were able to just really organize everything. Hopefully we can keep it that way. Everybody's been doing a really good job. So anytime you have an appointment, generally there's a lot of different things we have to set up for that, which is great to be really organized so that we can find out those things. So I'm sitting into the hall here. Dr. Thomas loves the camera. He's hiding from me. And that's Felicia, his sister. Oh, our lab. So anytime there's procedures done where we need to send things to a lab, meaning like if you have a crown or also dentures, partials, or maybe something needs a repair and we need to send it out, it's going to come into this room and we're going to get it ready to send to the lab. In some cases we need to use plaster. Here's someone's impression. It's been cleaned off. Anyway, someone's impression. So we need to pour stone inside there like a plaster, which I think we keep under here. Yeah. So it's just a plaster water mix, kind of like construction. You just pour it in there. And you get models of people's teeth. So we use things like this for all kinds of different things. Maybe a topic for another day. And things get shipped out, and then when we get our boxes back, we must plug them a little bit. We do a lot of business with dental practices that I'm on show. Love that lab and the owners there. Really great people. So a lot of our work goes to Marshfield, Wisconsin, and comes back to us. That's about it for the lab. And then down here are the 2 rooms that I work out of. And the lucky one, I get 1 room on this side, which faces the street, and 1 room that faces the woods back there. It's a great view on either side. So this is one. This is one example of maybe a setup, but a lot of different things that we set out. So I'm going to be using a crown, I think, in here. Yeah. So, sorry guys, I know this is what you're all afraid of, but this is what the anesthetic, anesthetic in case this person needs to be numb. How these instruments are set up specifically for each procedure. They're all a little bit different. Cement for the crown, different things that I use with the crown. To get the crown on, so we're just waiting for this patient to arrive. Let's look at our supply room first real quickly. Uh-oh. Get cornered. Alyssa is in our supply room. She's another one of our dental assistants. Yeah, she's like, I'm out of here. So she's probably doing some restocking. So in that sterilization area that I showed you before, we keep most of our supplies that we're just going to grab and bring into our procedure rooms. But when those supplies run out, we have to come into this closet and get from the big supply box that we may have sitting in here. This, for example, is a huge tub of little polishers that, when we polish your teeth, we're expecting a lot of people to come for cleaning. So the big box of those, a little bit of everything in here. And as we run out of those supplies in this room, we know that we need to order them again. A lot of gloves, and if you need a Sonicare, dizzy place. Stop. All right, so the last thing I wanted to talk about today, I talked about dental hygienists and what they do. And I want to talk about dental assistants and what they do, because I think a lot of people don't really know that each job, an assistant and a hygienist, are very different from one another. They do different things. And so I mentioned that our hygienists work down the hallway from me. They're going to be who you see for your cleanings. If you're lucky enough not to know that they treat gum disease, that's great. But they do treat some gum disease. They can give injections, and they're very highly trained in gum gardening. We refer to it as keeping your teeth in there. So dental assistants, I have 2 of them here to help me right now with my video, and that's mainly what a dental assistant does, is help the dentist with their stuff. My sidekick. Yes, my sidekick. So all these instruments that you see, and that I talked about earlier, that need to be sterilized, they're going to do all that stuff behind the scenes. And I'm kind of helpless without these guys. They do all my behind the scenes stuff. You saw on my video earlier that I mentioned I have 2 rooms, and Dr. Conders has 2 rooms, which seems kind of greedy because there's only one of us. And the way that we utilize that is because we have more than one assistant that works with us. So I mainly work with Haley, and sometimes I work with Alyssa, is flexible enough to work with both of us. And then we have Felicia, who works mainly with Dr. Conders. There's 3 of them, and for example, I'm over here finishing a procedure. Maybe I just got done with somebody across the hall, and Haley and I are working, and what you don't notice is that Alyssa's across the hall cleaning up that room, sterilizing those instruments, maybe working in the lab. She was doing that earlier, making retainers or bleaching trays, or getting your cases to the lab so that we get your crowns back on time. They do all that stuff. They also will do these units, for example. People ask me this, where's the water come from in here? It doesn't just come from the water tower up on the hill here in Spring Valley. We have to have it distilled, and we have a distilled water spigot that we use, and then we fill up this little bottle down there. So this is all a self-contained unit, and it keeps the lines sanitized and safe and clean, so that when we're using this in your mouth, it's all bacteria-free. These little tips come off, they're disposable. We have all kinds of different colors of them, so they're kind of fun. I don't have this glove on yet because I'm going to turn on my light. People ask me about that sometimes too. It's kind of a silly thing. Just a battery pack in my pocket. Push the button on that, and then I put my other glove on. I'm just going to leave my mask down so you can hear me a little better. So Haley always, if I don't know what I want, Haley usually knows what I want. She knows what to hand me. So I'm going to take a mirror here, and this we call an Explorer. This is just going to help me to examine teeth. I won't really do this to you. But for different procedures, these instruments can all look pretty similar, but they all have really different functions. And so whatever I need next, when I do a filling, for example, I use things in the same order every single time. So Haley knows what to hand me. She always just reaches out with her pinky, grabs stuff, and just makes things appear that I need. It's really fantastic. She spoils me that way. So it's really nice when you see your dentist and their assistants working together for years at a time, because they really know each other. They know what the other person is going to do, and keeps things nice and consistent for your patient. So Haley also runs all the suctions. Many different suctions, so bud drilling, using a lot of water in there. She's trying to save you from drowning. With this, you can close your, this is one people are used to for their cleaning. It's a little, give it a kiss on this time. It's a little slower suction, and this guy here, I use that for surgical procedures when I'm removing teeth, and it helps to kind of get down in there in those smaller areas for suctioning. So, yes, hearing lights. So when we place white fillings, composite fillings, you've seen the light that we put on there. People ask about that. There it is, and the big misnomer is that that's UV. It's not. It's actually just blue. It's a blue frequency light, and that causes the composite materials that we use to set up. The folks at 3M have that figured out really well. Those are the filling materials that we use. So I can manipulate it into the tooth. It's kind of like silly putty. And when I want it to set up hard, then Haley takes that light and puts it on there for 20 seconds. You'll see me using this orange filter. I get asked about that sometimes. And I'll use that when I'm placing the filling material when it's still in its putty state. That way my headlight doesn't start to set up the material, because of course there's a blue frequency in the light on there. So that's what that's for. So my filling doesn't set up before I want it to. So other things dental assistants can do. When I'm doing a crown procedure, for example, they do a lot of impressions. They help to get that crown prepared tooth ready for impression by using a piece of string around it. We can explain that to you if you ever have a crown done. The assistant's generally going to do that. She's also going to make your temporary crown. So those are things that maybe a dental assistant might be working on while I'm down the hall doing a checkup, or across the hall maybe getting another patient done. So that's a little bit about how that works. Thanks. Tune in next week.